This is now the oldest radio that I own of all the radios that I own. And I thought I'd, it's been over 2 months since I made a video, and I figured I would just show this. Why? Well, I just got this from my mom, who passed away, unfortunately, about 3 weeks ago. She fell in her apartment and she hit her head and had a brainstem bleed, and I was at the hospital for 21 days, and in the last 5 days never left her side until she's gone. So you guys might have seen Mom on a previous video where I made that antenna, the balcony antenna, and I brought it to her. And she's always a fun sport. Loved you guys' comments, man. So I had some meltdown crisis mode in July, but I'm okay now. And this was in one of her things. It's tough having to go through your mother's stuff and get rid of stuff and take stuff. But I remember seeing this when I was a kid when she had this. And I always said, don't you ever get rid of that. This is the Magnavox, one of the very, very first Magnavox transistorized radios. This is the Magnavox AM-22. And it does have the original leather case, which is very crispy and hard. And she had told me years ago when I was a kid, when I found it, of course, I was playing with it when I was 10, 11, 12 years old. She got this from the World's Fair and won a prize. And being that this is 1960, I think she said it was brand new when it came out. She was born in 1950, so she was about 10 when she was at the World's Fair with my grandparents and actually got this radio. This was a pocket-sized or purse-sized radio. For its time, it was a big deal. I mean, it was AM only. You have your AM, selection on the side here, your volume. In fact, I had this battery in it a minute ago. It actually still works, but with everything is pretty old now. I mean, this is transistorized, and this takes like 30 seconds to get any kind of noise out of it because the capacitors are so bad. So it's not even worth playing with. It's just going to sit there as nostalgia, right? So, of course, made Japan back in the day. There's a serial number, 173806, and it shows you, it gives you a little a layout of the board, okay? Vent holes in the back. Previous model was the very first transistorized radio from Magnavox was AM-2. This is AM-22. And the AM-2 is bigger, same idea of what it was for, a pocket-sized, throw it in your shirt pocket, have AM radio. Right now, the best I could use this for would be detecting power line noise, because if you go to a certain frequency on a dial out on the side, you hear a buzz when you get by power lines. But anyways, we're not using it for that. So this is very old style discrete components like point-to-point wiring. This is hand done. I'm guessing that back in the day in 1960 or 59, 58, they didn't have printed circuit boards. They may have only on the very most high-end stuff maybe. But printed circuit boards were brand new and everything was tubes. So going to a transistor, specifically 6 transistors in this thing, was a big deal. And AM bar antenna here, 9-volt battery sits in. In fact, the previous one was, the recommended batteries are a NITA 1604, a Eveready 216, a Rayovac, or a Berg. 2 out of the 4 of those I've never even heard of, right? But the previous model, the AM2, showed a 4-volt mercury battery. So that's before my time. All this is before my time. However, if you haven't noticed, I haven't made video in months, but yeah, what's sitting on my desk next to me are 2 radios from the 1980s, ham radios. No scopes, no digital stuff, just plain Jane radios, a Yaesu and an ICOM. So for some reason, to keep me entertained in this hobby, I'm going backwards. I have my 705, I have my SBitX, I have my ICOM ID52 handheld and more. But man, being that I know nobody else used this radio except my mom, think about when you have a radio like this and you think, man, how many people have actually listened to that before it was sold or traded or on the school bus or whatever, you know what I mean? There's nostalgia in here. I think that's where I've been going the last couple years, and that's where I'll continue to go. I am, unfortunately, not really too excited in the hobby right now. It's because new thing. You can't keep up. I mean, I remember when I got this new Baofeng, the BFF8HP Pro with 220 megahertz on it. It's a great radio. I mean, I bought this 5 months ago. It's already out. It's old news. But, having something like this, though, it's pretty cool. So, Yeah, I just wanted to show you that because I needed to really get in front of the camera here, even though I'm not in front of the camera, and start getting things moving and try to make some videos. I appreciate you listening to this. I appreciate you taking a trip down memory lane right here with the Magnavox. By the way, Magnavox, I learned, is, you know, from their original name of their company was a big mouth or something like that, big sound, and translated through Latin was Magnavox, you know, Magnavox. Learned that. That's pretty cool. So I learned one thing by just Googling a couple things on this radio. And will I ever, you know, do the caps inside and try to clean up? No, absolutely not. It's going to sit there, though, in memory of Mom, who probably, you know, if I ever got to ask her, would think, Mom, what'd you do with this? Were you bebopping on the school bus with this thing in your pocket? I mean, the stories that came out of that little speaker right there back in the day, the Magnavox AM-22, one of the many things I took from Mom, but this is the only electronic thing that's relative or relatable on video at all. So there you go, guys. Thanks for letting me get warmed up. Let me get some videos cranking out here. 7-3.